Hi everyone! This video will be part of our triangles unit, focusing specifically on how to classify the triangles by the angles and the sides. So each triangle is going to have two names depending on the information given. When you look at a triangle, you first want to look at the angles, and here's some vocabulary that it's important for you to know. In an equiangular triangle, all angles are congruent, and you can see that that's indicated by the arcs that are drawn inside the triangle. In an acute triangle, all of the angles are going to be acute or less than 90 degrees. A right triangle will have one right angle, which is usually labeled with this box in the corner here. And in an obtuse triangle, there's going to be one obtuse angle. All right? And then you're going to have a name for the triangles based on the sides. So in an equilateral triangle, all of the sides are congruent, and that's indicated by the tick marks. Isosceles triangle has at least two sides congruent, and in a scalene triangle, none of the sides are congruent. There's nothing to indicate that here. Right? So taking a look at a couple examples, we have a triangle here, and we need, remember, to classify it by the angles and the sides. So looking first at the angles, we'll notice that there's one obtuse angle, which would therefore classify it as an obtuse triangle. Now looking at the sides, all of the sides have different lengths, so therefore it's going to be a scalene triangle. All right, looking at the next example, there's a bunch of markings here. Let's first look at the angles. Right, we see a right angle, and then we see two congruent angles indicated by arcs. Now, all a triangle needs is one right angle in order to classify it as a right triangle. So that's what we're going to call it. Now, looking at the sides, we see the tick marks here that indicate two congruent sides. So therefore, it's an isosceles triangle. Right? And another thing just to note is that according to the isosceles triangle theorem, if two of the sides have equal lengths, then that automatically means that the angles are going to have equal measures, and vice versa. So that's just another thing to keep in mind. In this next triangle, looking again at the angles first, we see a right angle, which means that it's going to be a right triangle. And then looking at the sides, there's nothing here that indicates anything being congruent to each other. Nothing is the same. So we have to call it a scalene triangle. Right? Even if the sides in an example look the same, you can't say that they are unless they're marked. So we have our answers here.